What's going on, Sooner Nation? Oklahoma, Seth Littrell, they're busy on the recruiting trail. And as you guys have seen over the past month, Oklahoma, they've been out visiting numerous schools, multiple recruits. They've also been throwing out quite a few offers. And we've been trying to track some of the bigger offers, guys that you should really be paying attention to. And I wanted to point out the 2026 quarterback offers that Oklahoma recently just threw out and kind of give my take here on ideally what I think Oklahoma could do in that cycle. Before we dive into it, though, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button, join the discussion below, and give me your guys' thoughts on who do you think Oklahoma could land in the 2026 cycle. And also, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're on pace to hit 10,000 subscribers, and I want you guys to be a part of it. And when you subscribe, it tells me that you guys like this kind of content, so I can continue to bring you more. But Oklahoma, they threw out a pair of quarterback offers over the recent past 2 days, one on the 7th and one on the 6th. And we're going to start with Daren Coleman. Daren Coleman is a 6'1", 160-pound quarterback out of Orlando, Florida. And he has a couple offers. I say a couple, 16 total offers, right? Most notably, Nebraska, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Arkansas, and then, of course, Oklahoma. He's the number 2 dual threat quarterback here in the class of 2026. Now, you might be like, well, hey, the kid doesn't have any star ratings yet. Well, here's the deal. Star ratings, in my opinion, don't matter when it's this early into the recruiting cycle or in the evaluation period, because ultimately what you end up getting is guys end up soaring through the rankings as they attend more camps and as we actually head into that recruiting cycle. So hence some 2025 guys that Oklahoma got that are low 3 stars, low 4 stars. You might even see them start to rise through the rankings. So don't really pay attention to that too much. But I want to point out Daren Coleman, and I want to look at some of his film here so that you guys can kind of see what I'm seeing and why I think you should pay attention to him. So the first thing I got to note, when you watch this film, when you see him scrambling out of the pocket and you watch how he keeps his eyes downfield, and you really don't see him panic, right? He's able to keep those big plays alive. And I think you'll see that here in a second on the film. And again, when you're watching, you see him keep drives alive by utilizing his feet, extending drives and creating those big plays, which is something that Oklahoma fans are very familiar with when it comes to quarterbacks being able to do that. And then it's also important to note that Daren Coleman, his trainer, tweeted out after he got the Oklahoma offer, and he responded with this: "Appreciate you, coach. You manifested this when I was 12, when you brought me that OU hat. Love you, man." So obviously you can read between the lines however you look, but it appears Oklahoma might have been a higher school on his list that he was waiting for an offer from. So obviously, the 2026 cycle is really far away, and you expect that there's going to be more evaluation with these quarterbacks because, this isn't the only offer that Oklahoma has out there. You just recently saw them a couple weeks ago offer the number 1 quarterback in the 2026 class in Jared Curtis. You also saw an offer go out to Faison Brandon, and Faison Brandon is a quarterback that really good size, 6'4". He can make the throws, impeccable accuracy. And you see it in his numbers, right? Career-wise, as a starter, 3,560 yards, 44 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And then he's done a lot with his feet with 636 rushing yards and 12 rushing touchdowns. So although Oklahoma offered those 2 elite quarterbacks, you expect that Oklahoma is going to continue to make moves and continue to try to land other guys, because when you look at Oklahoma, they're a quarterback school. Like, we talk about all of these schools and what school U1 they are with the guys that they have in the NFL. I mean, Oklahoma's put out Sam Bradford, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray. If you want to claim Jalen Hurts because he spent a year here, you can claim Jalen Hurts. I mean, you can argue he had one of his best years at Oklahoma. And then you've got Caleb Williams was here 1 year, right? Obviously, mainly at USC for 2 years, but Caleb Williams did his thing here. So Oklahoma has a history and a track record for being able to produce quarterbacks at a high level. And you would imagine that whether it's Daren Coleman or Faison Brandon or Jared Curtis, they see that and it's probably intriguing. Just like Bill Bedenbaugh putting out potentially another first-round offensive lineman this year, offensive linemen are going to take notice, and Oklahoma is going to become just one of those premier destinations if they are not already for offensive linemen. But the other offer that went out yesterday that I thought was pretty intriguing was a quarterback by the name of Jaden O'Neal. And I got a chance to catch up with him as well, which we'll get to that here in a second. But Jaden O'Neal, again, another quarterback that has the size, 6'3", 200 pounds, out of New Beach, California. Now, when it comes to Jaden O'Neal, he has 20 total offers. And again, from probably some more of the elite schools and Power 5 schools across the country. I mean, when I look at his offer sheet, he's got offers from Washington, who just had Michael Penix, Florida State, Miami, Oregon, obviously Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Florida, Michigan, Ohio State, Texas. So this is also going to be a prospect that he's kind of wanted from schools all over the country. And he's got interest in the Alabamas and the Floridas and schools like that. So looking at some film for Jaden O'Neal, right? Let's take a look at that. Let me get it going here because I did not have it going. All right, let's take a look at some of this film. Why should Oklahoma fans be looking at a prospect like Jaden? Well, when you watch this film, there are a couple things that stand out. And obviously on the first slide, you saw it, arm talent. So he can make those throws. And you see it when he's able to launch the ball 30, 40, 50 yards down the field, right? He's got a powerful arm. Additionally, he's got pocket awareness. Multiple times you see the pocket break down early, and you really don't see him panic. Sometimes he steps up in the pocket, catches his receiver in stride, but also you see him make quick, good decisions and get the ball out quickly when those defensive linemen are breaking through that protection early. And lastly, you see the mobility and how he's able to use his feet to extend drives when it appears the play is dead, right? He's not a Kyler Murray. He's not going to kill you with that speed and elusiveness that Kyler Murray had. But when you watch how he scrambles, it looks a lot like Jalen Hurts, who was a little bit more methodical, right, in the way that he scrambled and was able to get down the field. Also a little bit bigger of a quarterback runner. So again, and that was not going to be a guy that killed you with his feet, but when he needed to move, he was moving. And Jalen Hurts actually racked up quite a few rushing yards while at Oklahoma. So I got a chance to catch up with Jaden after he got the Oklahoma offer. And this is kind of what he had to say about it and what he had to say about some other offers that have kind of stuck out to him. He said, the offer from Oklahoma was big for my family and I, because knowing the history behind the school and the coaching staff, blessing us to be a part of what they're doing was truly a blessing. Schools that have really just stuck out to me is Miami, Washington, Michigan State, and Florida State. So again, you see a quarterback really putting the emphasis on the tradition and history of just even some of the most, and this is what I think a lot of people are forgetting, right? Obviously, when we talk about history here at Oklahoma, a lot of times I'm going to talk about more recent modern history, right? Some of the more modern quarterbacks that Oklahoma's had. Reason is because those are going to be the quarterbacks that these kids more so relate to in terms of just how the game is played. And also, these are the kids that they've grown up watching. So he really mentions that. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. But that's going to be it. Those were some of the offers that were thrown out for the 2026 class at the quarterback position. And I think we really have to start paying attention to what Oklahoma is going to do because they have time, right? They have time before they have to take a quarterback commit because you've got Jackson Arnold in the reins right now. You've got Michael Hawkins and Brandon Zerbrug in that room. And then in 2025, you already have a quarterback in Kevin Sperry who's committed, who is a winner. He can sling the ball. He's got all the talent in the world. This is a guy that some people even think could be a 5-star. Now, I think he is 5-star talent, but I don't know if he's going to get that 5th star just because of playing at Carl Albert. I think that hurts him a little bit, but you never know. You never know how these insiders that actually evaluate talent are going to think because, you've seen the thing with Dave Stone dropping in the rankings. So, but we ain't going to talk about that today. So Guys, I want to hear from y'all. Make sure you hit that like, hit the subscribe button, join the discussion by jumping down in the comments below, giving me your thoughts. And also, YouTube wants you guys to watch one of these videos. So make sure you click on one of those and give me your thoughts there as well.